The House agrees with the NDP leader, and the House proclaims that it has lost confidence in the Prime Minister and the government.
The House has aligned itself with the NDP leader, acknowledging that it has lost confidence in the Prime Minister and the government. Pierre Poilievre's non-confidence motion was nothing short of a political bombshell. What made it so remarkable was the strategy behind it, not grounded in typical conservative rhetoric, but by cleverly borrowing directly from NDP leader Jagmeet Singh's own scathing critiques of Justin Trudeau. In a calculated move, Poilievre declared his intent to set aside partisanship, stating that good ideas and perspectives should be embraced, regardless of their origin. This was not just a motion but a sophisticated political trap. Singh had recently described Trudeau as weak, selfish, and too beholden to corporate interests to effectively stand up for ordinary Canadians. Poilievre weaponized those very words, framing them in a conservative motion that forced Singh into a difficult position: support his own statements and vote against Trudeau or backtrack to preserve the Liberal NDP coalition. Singh's critiques had gained traction over the months, accusing the Trudeau government of betraying workers and caving to corporate greed. Examples included the government's intervention in labor disputes by referring striking workers to industrial relations boards, effectively stripping them of their right to strike. Poilievre's motion underscored these failures, linking them to broader economic woes such as soaring inflation, plummeting productivity, and the skyrocketing cost of living. Millions of Canadians now rely on food banks, and housing prices have surged beyond reach, painting a bleak picture of Trudeau's leadership. Poilievre's motion sharpened this critique with precision, portraying a government disconnected from the struggles of everyday citizens. Trudeau's leadership, in Poilievre's framing, was akin to a defective product that would be recalled for being both flawed and dangerous. By repurposing Singh's words, Poilievre emphasized the NDP leader's contradictions. Singh, who had positioned himself as a staunch advocate for workers and a vocal critic of corporate influence, hesitated when the time came to act on his rhetoric. The non-confidence motion held up a mirror to Singh, exposing political hypocrisy. While Singh had repeatedly vowed not to support policies that infringed on workers' rights, his actions suggested otherwise. This left voters questioning his authenticity as a champion of the working class. For months, Singh had criticized Trudeau as weak and selfish, yet his hesitation to back the non-confidence motion revealed a leader more committed to preserving a fragile coalition than delivering on his promises. This moment of political theater was a revelation, exposing cracks in the so-called Liberal NDP coalition. Canadians observing this spectacle saw a government struggling to maintain cohesion, with Trudeau's inability to lead and Singh's willingness to compromise his principles at the forefront. Poilievre's strategy not only targeted Trudeau but also dismantled Singh's credibility. The economic failures under Trudeau were laid bare, with Canada experiencing $500 billion in lost investments to the United States and a significant decline in per capita economic growth. Median incomes, once comparable to those in the United States, now lag far behind. Inflation reached record highs, and housing prices doubled, making homeownership an unattainable dream for millions. Public dissatisfaction was palpable, with many feeling abandoned by a government that seemed more focused on optics than solutions. Trudeau's political missteps extended beyond economics. Key members of his caucus openly criticized his policies, from the carbon tax, which increased living costs without achieving meaningful environmental progress, to energy policies that alienated provincial leaders. Trudeau's leadership was further undermined by scandals involving lavish spending, illegal vacations, and questionable use of public funds. These controversies painted a picture of a leader more invested in personal benefit than public service. Poilievre's speech in Parliament was a masterclass in political critique. He dissected Trudeau's record with surgical precision, addressing economic, social, and political failures. He framed the choice for Canadians as stark: a coalition of tax-heavy Liberals and NDP or a pragmatic conservative vision focused on reducing taxes, balancing budgets, and restoring economic growth. Poilievre's rhetoric resonated with Canadians disillusioned by years of broken promises and ineffective governance. He promised to abolish the carbon tax, bring relief to struggling families, and tackle the housing crisis, presenting himself as a leader capable of addressing the challenges Trudeau's government had exacerbated. As the Liberal government scrambled to block the non-confidence motion through procedural tactics, their desperation was evident. The chaotic exchanges in Parliament underscored the government's inability to defend its record. Poilievre remained composed, highlighting the Liberals' failures and offering a glimpse of competent leadership. Trudeau's administration appeared increasingly fractured, with internal dissent and public discontent mounting. This pivotal moment in Canadian politics revealed the fragility of the current government and the growing demand for accountability. Poilievre's motion, whether it succeeded or failed, delivered a blow to both Trudeau and Singh, exposing their vulnerabilities. For Trudeau, the motion highlighted his declining support and inability to lead effectively. For Singh, it underscored his political inconsistency and eroding credibility. Canadians, fed up with unfulfilled promises and worsening conditions, were left questioning the direction of their leadership. The broader implications of this political drama extended beyond the immediate fallout. Public trust in government was eroding, with frustration boiling over. The economic and social crises Canada faced demanded urgent action, yet the political gamesmanship in Parliament offered little hope for meaningful change. As Trudeau and Singh navigated the aftermath of the motion, their leadership faced intensified scrutiny, and the country braced for the potential of a new political chapter. Canada's political situation is reaching a critical juncture. The widespread disillusionment with Justin Trudeau's leadership isn't just a matter of perception. Hard data supports Canadians' growing frustration. Inflation continues to soar to record levels, housing costs remain out of reach for the majority, and per capita economic growth is shrinking. This isn't merely an economic issue. It's a crisis profoundly affecting the everyday lives of millions of citizens. Meanwhile, Jagmeet Singh's ability to present a compelling alternative is also under intense scrutiny. His passionate rhetoric against Trudeau increasingly rings hollow when juxtaposed with his consistent support for the Liberal government. What once seemed like a rallying cry for social justice now comes across as political opportunism. Singh appears trapped in a dilemma: continue propping up Trudeau under the guise of maintaining stability, or break ranks and risk destabilizing his own political position.